Hello, welcome to this live lesson. I'm so excited that you've decided to join. If you're already here, if you can hear me, if you can see me, let me know that you've joined. I would love to know who's already here. All right, let's make sure that everything on italki is working and that we are indeed live. Okay, so hello again. My name is Anu and I teach English here on italki.com. Thank you so much for registering on italki. I cannot wait to tell you all of the amazing things that you can do on this website, and I'm going to give you some great tips for language learning, so stay tuned, okay? Now, while I am talking, make sure that you say hello. Let me know in the chat box that you are here and ask me any questions you want about italki, about learning a language, about learning English even. So I'll answer all of your questions live at the end of this lesson, okay? All right, so I guess most of you would already be aware about italki, right? I'll just give you a brief introduction, just in case. So italki is a global language learning community that connects students and teachers like myself for one-on-one online language lessons. Do you know that there are over 10,000 teachers on the platform? Now, I am one of the English teachers, and maybe I'll be seeing some of you soon in my lessons as well. Now, one interesting fact that you may not know is that according to some research conducted by Queen's College and University of South Carolina, italki came out as the #1 online platform to learn a language. It takes just 19 hours on italki compared to a university term to move from one level to the next level in a language. So imagine if you're a beginner or A1, you could move to A2 in just 19 hours, okay, compared to the 45 hours it takes on average at university. So think about all the time that you save, as well as all the money. And of course, the convenience of learning from absolutely anywhere you want, okay? You could learn from your living room, you could learn from your own home, from your local cafe, from your workplace, anywhere, okay? But all you need is a laptop or your tablet or phone and the internet, okay? So why don't you try taking an online lesson with an italki teacher? I've got a special coupon just for you so that you can get $10 extra on your first purchase on italki. Okay, so this coupon is fantastic if you've thought about taking an online lesson, but you just never did it. But you can use this to commit, okay? ANU, that's the code. It's my name, Anu, ANU, 3 letters, easy to remember, okay? Like I said, you can get $10 extra on your first purchase only. So note that this coupon will only work for your first purchase. If you've already taken a lesson or if you have credit in your wallet on italki, then this coupon will not work, unfortunately. So go on, okay, book an online lesson with any teacher you like, okay, any teacher, any language, any type of lesson you like, and get $10 extra. Okay, use the coupon. It's just my name. It's ANU, Anu. All right. So I'm just going to copy paste the coupon into the chat box as well. Now, I have some really exciting things to tell you about today. I'm going to tell you all about how to get the most out of an online language lesson. Okay, we're going to find out, how to create a language learning goal. We're going to find the perfect teacher for you to lead you to that goal. Prepare for your first lesson, create a language learning plan, and then finally, I'm going to teach you how to move from one level to the next level in the fastest way possible. But remember, while I'm talking, if you've got any questions, okay, any questions at all about italki, learning a language, using that coupon, about learning English even, let me know in the chat box, okay? Type your question in the comments and I will answer all of your questions live in about 20 minutes, okay? So let's talk about creating a goal for language learning. Before every lesson, think about exactly what you want to achieve. So if you're learning English, maybe you want to be able to go to a doctor's appointment and describe different health problems. Or, if maybe you want to master the second conditional. Or perhaps you'd like to perfect your pronunciation and pronounce fuzz and fuss differently. It's tricky, right? Now, if you set a goal before you start, then you will feel so much more successful at the end of the lesson when you achieve that goal or you come closer to achieving that goal. All right. But make sure that you set really specific goals, okay? Your goal shouldn't be, I'll speak English fluently at the end of the hour, or I'll speak any language fluently at the end of the hour. It's not going to work. Make it more specific, make it about just one topic. So for example, I'll be able to speak about health problems fluently at the end of the hour. Do you notice the difference between the two? Now remember, every minute counts. So even a relaxed English lesson needs language goals. If you already know what goals you want to achieve, great. You can share them with your teacher before the lesson. And it's going to help them to plan the perfect lesson for you. But if you're not sure, no worries, okay? You can always plan your language learning goals with your teacher during the lesson. Okay, so now that you've got a clearer idea about creating a goal for language learning, here's how to find the right teacher for you on italki. So I'll let you in on a little secret which most of my students just don't know about. It's always better to use the filters on italki to find the right teacher. There, I've said it. It's not a big secret, I know, but many people just don't understand how to use the filters to find the teachers that they are looking for. So let me show you how it's done. Let me share my screen so that you can see what I can see on my screen. Okay, so hopefully you can now see the Find a Teacher page on italki. So I've got to this page by clicking on Find a Teacher, which is at the very top here. Okay, so next you can make things a bit more specific. Like I said, there's 10,000 teachers on italki, so we should probably go ahead and click on the language that you want to learn. This will make the list shorter. Now, I've already clicked on English, and now I've found about sort of just under 3,000 teachers, okay? But it's still a lot of teachers to choose from, right? So we can use these filters here to make things more specific. So let's imagine that you only want to learn the British accent, okay? Maybe you like my accent, maybe you like watching Sherlock, or you want to watch things like Harry Potter. Then you need to put in United Kingdom and then select that as your next filter. Fantastic. So now you're only going to see a list of teachers who, are from the UK, and they're all, they're all there to teach you British English. It's taking a little bit of time, but we'll give it a few seconds. You can also use this filter as well. So if you've got a certain budget that you want to work with, so I mean, you can find a teacher for every budget. So you could actually change this to decide how much you are willing to spend per hour on every teacher. And then you can set that as a filter as well. All right. Ooh, I've got a problem here. I think the internet's being a little bit odd. Okay. We'll give that a little refresh and hopefully it'll start working in a second. Another thing that you can actually do is you can find a teacher who speaks your native language, okay? Which is fantastic because, I mean, if you're worried about taking a lesson in completely in one language, but you're worried that you might not understand your teacher, you can actually find teachers who also speak your native language. You can also find teachers who are, very, very specific, and they might be able to teach you things like writing skills or pronunciation skills or test preparation skills. So you can find a teacher for literally every need. Now we're waiting for this to load. For some reason, it's not working. Goodness me. Oh, well, that's annoying. Well, you know what? I'll show you the filters in a second, but let me show you a teacher profile while we're waiting. So you can click on any teacher's profile to find out a lot more information about, who they are, where they're from, and so on. So the best place to find that is in the introduction video. The teacher will tell you about their qualifications, their skills, their education, and so on. But I don't think that's the most important thing. I think it's so much more important to focus on whether you can understand the teacher, okay? It's so much more important to think about whether the teacher is speaking clearly, whether you like their accent, whether they are speaking too fast or too slow. So that's what I would recommend checking in the introduction video. Next, you've got the written description. Okay, so you can actually check if check for more extra details about this teacher. But one thing I always look for is their hobbies. It's nice to have a teacher who's got similar hobbies to you, and it's going to make it easier to talk to them quite freely as well. All right, so let's go down, and now you'll see this box. Now, this box is really important. It's the list of lessons that this teacher teaches. Now, every teacher has a unique set of lessons that they teach, and it's different from teacher to teacher, right? Because of their experience and their expertise, their qualifications. So, for example, this teacher teaches the IELTS and TOEFL, but if you wanted lessons for the Cambridge exams, then you would have to do something else, right? Maybe another teacher. So you can select a teacher based on what type of courses they offer. Now, one more thing that you can do is you can have a look at the reviews, and you can check if they've got any feedback from students who were taking similar lessons as you. So if you wanted a lesson that focuses on like conversation skills, speaking skills, then here you go. Somebody's mentioned that this teacher provides really nice and friendly conversation. Isn't that nice? Okay, so the next thing you can do is you can book a trial lesson. Okay, a trial lesson is 30 minutes long, and it is designed to give you a little taste of what the full lesson would look like. It's your opportunity to meet your teacher for the first time and ask them any questions you want to ask. Now, you have 3 trial lessons available on italki, so definitely use them wisely. But the cool thing about trials is that they're generally really, really cheap, okay? So they're generally less than the price of a full lesson, and sometimes they're as cheap as $1. Isn't that fantastic? A 30-minute trial with a teacher for $1. You have no excuse not to try one. You should definitely try it out. Now, to book a trial lesson, you will need to put some money into your italki wallet, okay? So you can decide how much you want to put, but I'm just going to show you how it works with $30. The next thing you can do is scroll down and use this red box. You can put in the coupon code. Remember my code. It was ANU. ANU, 3 letters, easy to remember. And then you'll see a little bit of italki magic, $10 extra. I mean, you can do so many things with that $10 extra. You can take a lesson with any teacher you want for any type of lesson you like, for any language. I mean, you could do 1, maybe 2, or even 3 trial lessons with that money. Okay, so if you are looking to kickstart your language learning skills, then you definitely should use this coupon. It's just ANU, 3 letters, easy to remember. Okay. All right. So hopefully you can now see this face again. And I apologize for the issue with the teacher page. I'm not quite sure why it didn't load. How interesting. Okay. Anyway, if you do have questions, if you want me to show how the filters work, then I can show it to you at the end. Just let me know in the comments. Just type your question in the comments, and I'm happy to show you. Just remember that if you are booking a lesson, use this coupon, okay? ANU, 3 letters to get that $10 extra that I just showed you, all right? Okay, so hopefully you've now booked a lesson and you are starting to prepare for it. So make sure that you have everything you need to succeed in the online lesson. Okay, so that includes things like your laptop, or you could use a tablet, or sometimes even your phone. You will need your passwords for italki, Skype, Zoom, all of those. I also recommend having a little notebook where you can write down, where you can write down all of the new grammar, all the new vocabulary that you've learned. And I also recommend using 2 pens. Now, I use this to write most things, but I use a different color to highlight, to underline, to write more important things. And it really makes my notes so much more organized, and they look kind of pretty. So I get a lot more motivated to look at my notes again if they're neat and organized. So I really like using 2 different pens. Now, the second thing is ask the teacher if you've got any homework to do before the lesson. I know it sounds strange, homework before the lesson. Well, yes. So a lot of teachers, including me, would ask you to watch a video or read a newspaper article before coming to class. And then during the lesson, we would discuss what you did, talk about what you found difficult, talk about the grammar, the vocabulary, the content in it. But I don't have to decide what you study in the lesson, okay? Remember, your lesson is one-to-one. So you can decide exactly what you want to work on, okay? So tell the teacher, is it listening, speaking, reading, writing, whatever you want. You'll get a personalized lesson that focuses on just your problems. And if you're not sure what you need to work on, no worries. You can ask your teacher directly what they think. Okay? So this is something that I think is not really possible in a local language school or local academy, because you're probably going to do the lesson with 10 or 20 or 30 other students. And the teacher just can't give you individual attention very much during the lesson. So that's not a problem on italki, because all of the lessons are one-to-one. Okay, so all the lessons are focused on just you as the student, your questions, your problems, your mistakes, and most importantly, your goals. We only care about achieving your goals. Okay. All right. So one more thing that you can do to get ready for the lesson is you can ask the teacher if you can record the lesson. So it's quite cool because you can do the lesson once, but then you'll have a video at the end to watch as many times as you want. Okay, so you can use the same video over and over again to go through all your mistakes, to go through all the content, the vocabulary, the grammar, check your pronunciation, check your teacher's pronunciation. There are so many things that you can do with that one video. I really recommend it. It's so easy to do on Skype and Zoom. You just click a button. That's it. Okay. All right, so let's talk about creating your language learning plan then. Well, first of all, be really realistic about how much time you really have, okay? And most importantly, remember, if you've got 2 hours a day, then you should only take a 30-minute lesson and spend the rest of the time reviewing what you did in class. Now, I've got a student who does this so well that I've got to tell you about them. Okay, so this student has a very busy lifestyle with work, with family. He's got very young children. So he doesn't have a lot of time to study, but he does his lessons during his daily commute to work. Isn't that genius? It takes him 1 hour on the train to get to work in the morning, and he calls me during that time to practice. And then on his way back from work, he reviews everything that we studied in the morning. This is a great example of someone who doesn't have a lot of time, but they're using whatever time they have to practice. Okay? Okay, next, if you've decided how much time you have and what you'll do with it, put it on paper. Okay? Write your plan down. Put it on your calendar. These are some great ways to make sure that you actually do it. Okay, if you've got a fantastic plan in your head, but you don't write it down, trust me, you will not complete it. Okay, it is so much more. It gives you so much more motivation if you write it down and if you see it constantly. So my plans, for example, are always on my desk because because I spent most of my time in this area teaching online. So it's nice to have my eye on that plan whenever I'm working, because then I cannot ignore it. I have to do it, right? Now, it's also really, really important to be consistent. So, if you take a lesson today, then do nothing for 10 weeks and then take your next lesson, what is the point? Okay, you are not going to make any progress because you're not going to remember what you did so many weeks ago. Okay, so I recommend taking regular lessons consistent lessons so that you can make some good progress. Okay. Now, this is something I struggle with, so I understand that it's difficult to remember to take regular lessons, to study regularly. So you can do what I do. So I learn English, I teach English. I learn Japanese on italki. And what I do is I plan my lessons in advance. So I book my lessons with a teacher about 1 or 2 or 3 weeks in advance. So I know that I'm going to take my lessons in the next few weeks. So I don't have to worry about completing my language learning plan. It's already booked, it's on my calendar. So I'm definitely going to go and take the lesson, right? Okay, so next, I want to tell you how to move from one level to the next level in the fastest way possible. But before I do that, let me quickly tell you that remember, if you have any questions about italki, about learning English, about like learning a language in general, tips for learning a language, let me know. Okay, I'm gonna answer all of your questions live in 2 minutes. Okay, so write your questions in the comments. Just type a little comment in the chat box and I will answer your questions live in 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, so how to move from one level to the next level in the fastest way possible. Well, step one is to identify your weak skill. So think about that skill. Is it reading, writing, listening, speaking? Think about that skill that makes you nervous, that makes you feel terrified, that that you don't have any confidence in. Okay, that skill is probably holding you back from achieving your goal. Okay, so you want to identify that skill first. That's step one. Step two is to look for some time in your daily routine when you're not really doing anything with your mind. So, for example, I spend about 5 minutes in the morning making some tea. I mean, I don't really have to do anything. I mean, the water boils itself, the tea brews itself, and I mean, I have to wait for a few minutes to actually drink it because it's hot. So I use that 5 minutes, or I could use that 5 minutes for something related to languages instead, or it could be the 5 minutes in the bus stop waiting for the bus, 5 minutes walking to that bus stop, 5 minutes driving somewhere, 5 minutes before your lessons, 5 minutes while waiting for your food to cook. It could be any of those 5 minute spots during the day. Now, step three is to find a simple, fun daily activity that you can do to target that weakness. Okay, so for me, what I do is I write a daily journal because my weakest skill is writing. I write a daily journal. I write about, what I did, what I ate, where I went, who I met. Simple things. And then, if my day wasn't very interesting, I might write about some random questions. For example, what are the 3 things that make me happy? Or I could write about what I would do if I were the president of my country. Okay, so there's a lot of options for me in terms of writing. And when you do it every single day, every single week for a few weeks, you will notice such a big difference. You'll notice that that skill is not scary anymore. It's normal. It's something you do all the time. It's routine, okay? So you will not feel so scared and so lacking in confidence when you use that skill later on. And that's when it becomes really easy to move to the next level. All right, so I hope that you've got a really clear idea about how to get the most out of your online lesson, okay? I want to thank you for your time and your patience. You guys have been so lovely, Okay, if anyone is joining in late, then let me just quickly share my coupon. It's a special coupon for learning any language you want on italki with any teacher you want. Okay, it's from me to you guys. Okay, so this comment is already in the chat box, so everyone can see it in the comments as well. Now, if you use this coupon, which is my name, ANU, you can get 10 extra dollars when you buy your first lesson on italki. So $10 is a lot. Like I said, it could be one trial or two trials or maybe even three trial lessons. Okay, it could be maybe one or two full hour lessons as well. So I really, really recommend using this coupon if you've been making excuses about doing lessons online for a long time. Use the coupon and start your language learning journey today. Now remember, the coupon is just my name, it's ANU. It will only work for your first purchase on italki. So it won't work if you've already taken a lesson with a teacher or if you've got credit in your wallet on italki. So save the coupon, okay? Save it and use it today to book your lesson. Don't make excuses. It's the middle of the week. We're almost at the weekend. You could do a lesson this weekend with a teacher and start your language learning journey. Okay, so the coupon is my name, ANU, 3 letters, nice and easy to remember, right? Okay, so now I am available for any questions you have about learning a language, about italki, about using that coupon. If you want me to show you how to use the filters again, let me know. I can do that as well. So let me know, write your question in the chat box and I will answer all of your questions, okay? I'm going to answer them live for the next 10 minutes. So you've got some time to quickly think of a question and write it down in the chat box. And I'm going to make sure that I answer all of them one by one. Trust me. I'm just going to put it in the chat box as well. It's question time. So question time, ask me any questions you have about italki, about learning English, or anything else you want to know. Okay. Let's see, do we have any questions? Okay, so Sergey has just sent us his first question. Fantastic. Thank you, Sergey. How are you? Sergey says, hello. Does presently mean soon or now? Actually, it means both. Generally, it means soon, but it can, depending on the context, also mean now, like now as in about a few seconds, that kind of now. So it can mean both. It generally means soon. I would love to know where you saw it though. It's not a very common word. It is generally used in like more formal speaking or in, how do I say this, like informal writing sometimes as well. So if you want an example with now, then you could say, for example, there are, think 15 people watching this italki broadcast presently, which means at the moment, right now. But you can also use presently to mean in a short time, like really soon. So for example, we could say something like your exam will begin presently, but it's very, very rare to use it like that. It's very odd. It's very, very formal. And generally we would say presently is at the present time, so right now. But it can be used for soon. I hope that answers your question, but generally it means now. It can mean soon as well. Do you have any other questions? That's a fantastic question. Thank you for that. If you've got any other questions about learning English, like Sergey just asked, or about learning languages in general, about italki, about using the coupon, anything you want, let me know. I would love to help. So I ask a lot of questions like this, like does this word mean this or this, or what's the difference between this word and this word, to my Japanese teacher as well. I think it's so useful to be able to ask somebody, especially not just a native speaker, but also a teacher who can explain the difference. I love asking these questions. If you've got any questions like that, definitely let me know. So like I just mentioned, I actually teach, I teach English, of course, but I learned Japanese on italki. And actually, when I first signed up on italki, I signed up because I wanted to learn Japanese. I did not sign up as a teacher. So I was a student just like you. I still am a student just like you, sitting on the other side of this laptop, learning from a teacher, and I still do it. So I started 6 years ago, and I still do it. It's really fun as well because I lived in London when I first started using italki, because I'm from London, and it was really hard to find a teacher who was, near my house, who could teach me Japanese, especially speaking in Japanese. And for me, it was so much more convenient to just go online and do a lesson. The nearest Japanese teacher for me was an hour away. So I would spend 1 hour to, get to the teacher, another hour studying with them, and then another hour coming back home. It was 3 hours for a 1 hour lesson, which is, in my opinion, a little bit of a waste of time. So I decided to just go online, use my time more efficiently, and take lessons. And it was fantastic. In a day or two, I had a lesson booked. I was taking my first lesson in Japanese with a teacher in Japan. And I was just sitting in my house. I was sitting in my living room doing this lesson. It was fantastic. I loved it. And I still take lessons on italki. So I know that italki can really help you with your Japanese level. So, or any language that you're learning. I teach English, so I know that it can help you with your English as well. So I do recommend using it. Really, really do. By the way, guys, I can see a few people have joined. Remember, this is question time. So ask me any question you have about italki, about learning English, anything you want to know, okay? Sergey says, thank you, no problem. It was a fantastic question. I'm glad you asked. Oh, Sergey also asks a really good one again. So what's the difference between fatigue and tiredness? Okay, so generally the difference is in the level of how tired you are. Fatigue is extreme tiredness. It happens over a long period of time. So a good example is, imagine that your lift is not working one day and you live on the 3rd floor, okay? So if you're not very fit like me, if you walk up those stairs to the 3rd floor, then you will just feel general tiredness. You'll be tired, okay? You will not feel fatigue. Fatigue is very extreme. It's what marathon runners feel after running for 4 hours, for example. That is muscle fatigue. It's not really tiredness. It's an extreme version of tiredness, and fatigue takes a long time to set in. Okay, tiredness can be very short term, but fatigue takes a long time to set in. So when I think of exercise, I always think of fatigue when you do a long day of exercise, or a long session of exercise, like 4 hours marathon running, something like the Ironman when you're running the whole day, something like that would be fatigue. Tiredness would be just running for 2 minutes and thinking, oh, I'm so unfit. In terms of general life, you would feel fatigue if you have been spending maybe a month or 2 months not sleeping properly, working overtime, working too many hours. That would be fatigue because you've been doing that consistently for a long period of time. You would feel tired at the end of any day, right? You wouldn't feel fatigued, you would feel tired at the end of most days because, oh, you've done a day of work. So that's the difference between fatigue and tiredness. It's the time. So fatigue needs more time to set in, and fatigue is also more extreme than tiredness. I hope that helps. Let me know if you want any more example sentences or any more help with understanding fatigue and tiredness. I would love to help. So if anyone is still here and is wondering what to do next, remember that it is question time. So ask me any questions you want. Excuse me, about italki. You can ask me questions about learning a language, general tips, or you can ask me questions about learning English. Anything you want to know, I can help you live for the next few minutes. So let me know. While we're waiting, I'm just going to show you the coupon once again. Don't forget, you can use this coupon to book your first lesson, okay? So you can get $10 extra to spend on any teacher you want, on any type of lesson you like, on any language you want as well, okay? You can use that on your first lesson on italki. You will need to use this coupon. It's ANU, 3 letters, ANU, okay? So I really recommend using this. You're going to find some fantastic teachers on italki, and they can really help you improve in a very short time, okay? Speaking, that's all they do, but they can also teach you other things, and they will really help you improve. I can guarantee that. Sergey says, very good explanation. Thank you. I'm really glad that it was useful. I'm really, really glad. Let me know if you have any more. We've got about 2 more minutes for questions. Running out of time soon. The one cool thing that I really like about italki as a student, not as a teacher, is that I can decide my own schedule. So because I'm an online teacher, my schedule is different every single week. So if you do like a shift job, or if you work different hours every week, or if you're just very busy with a social life, maybe your studies, maybe your work, italki is great for scheduling lessons because you can check the calendar of every teacher and book a convenient time for both of you. Okay, so it's fantastic. You can even change the time up to 24 hours in advance. You can move the lesson to a more convenient time, which is really important for me because obviously if I have a lesson at the same time, I can't teach and study at the same time. So I really love it as a student that I can move my lessons. I can, pick the perfect time to suit me as a student. So I love that. Oh, look at that. We've run out of time. Okay, so let me just thank you all again. Thank you in particular to Sergey. Thank you for asking such fantastic questions. Really good stuff there. Don't forget to use the coupon. So like I said, the coupon is just my name. It's ANU, 3 letters. Very easy to remember, ANU. And you can use this coupon to get $10 extra when you buy your first lesson on italki. That could be a couple of hours of studying, guys. That's awesome. With a teacher, that's fabulous, right? You can use this coupon, ANU, to get $10 extra to spend on any teacher you want, for any language, for any type of lesson. Okay. I'm also going to just copy paste my profile here if anybody is interested. I'm not saying pick me, but there are so many fantastic teachers on italki, so you can choose one based on your budget, on your needs, on your schedule. Everything is all about you. So thank you so much again for joining me today. It was so much fun talking to you guys, and I'll come back in a couple of hours. Bye.